Welcome to Breakthrough Success. I'm your host, Marc Guberti, CEO and founder of Content Marketing Plaza, bringing you 3 new episodes each week where I and top-level guests teach you how to take your business to the next level and achieve your breakthrough. And part of taking a business to that next level is making sure you are as ready as you can be to put in the effort to do the work to achieve all the success. And that means treating yourself right. That comes down to your health, that comes down to your body. And there are a lot of things that certainly make that more challenging. And we're going to take a look at that in this episode. So today's guests who join us today, they have been bioenergy balancing practitioners since 1995 and teachers since 2005. Their focus is on helping clients improve their health so they can clearly pursue their dreams. Their business core talk helps people figure out where to go, combat anxiety, because as entrepreneurs with a lot of moving parts, we certainly have anxiety at certain times. So how can we combat that? That is what they do with their business. And they pretty much help you if you have procrastination. They help you get rid of that as well so you can get stuff done. So pretty much if you want to get unstuck, this is the duo for you. Today's guests for episode 340 of the Breakthrough Success podcast are none other than Greg Lee and Antonia Van Becker. It is a pleasure to have the two of you on Breakthrough Success.
Awesome. It's so fun to be here.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
It's a pleasure to have you two on Breakthrough Success. I look forward to going into this because, I mean, health is certainly a very important part, and I feel like there's a lot that we need to look at so that we're able to really accomplish our dreams. So before we do that, I know I just mentioned your business core talk, which is part of your bigger business, Self-Health Institute. So I'm wondering if you two could talk about how you got started with that.
Sure, yeah. Self-Health Institute was really the beginning of our way of being able to serve people in a different way than we had previously in our life. One of the advantages that we have in working with entrepreneurs is that we both came from the corporate world and both had our own entrepreneurial businesses before we started our healing business. And of course, having a healing business is an entrepreneurial enterprise. So it's like we get to function at kind of in the underbelly, understanding how entrepreneurship affects your health, and then being able to offer some solutions that really help people get traction to be able to move forward with their businesses and not be bogged down by the things that have happened in their lives previously that keep, if you don't deal with them, they keep coming up and talking to you as you're making moves in your business and trying to grow. They'll keep reminding you that you have some other stuff to work on. So we're here to help people work on that stuff.
And the way that we got started basically was when we were in business in corporate, we'd be working so hard and we'd be having so many hours and passing babies off at the airport and while we went on international business trips, and we came home so tired. And pretty soon, like I had some chronic stuff that was going on, stomach issues, and Greg came home from an international conference and he was so sick and he just stayed sick and he went to the doctor and nothing helped. And then he went and found our mentor healer, and within one session, she cured him of what we actually thought was pancreatic cancer. Wow. And the doctors had been working on him for 3 to maybe 6 months.
It was 6 months I had this real...
All these prescriptions, he was getting thinner and thinner. He couldn't keep anything down. And we thought he was dying. He was like, oh, no, big deal. You know how guys are. But we were really worried. And so he went, found this healer quite by happenstance. And within one session, he was healed. And we went, holy cow, we got to check that out. What is this? And as we went to her, she helped us move through so many things, not just physical issues, irritable bowel and all sorts of gnarly things, but things like fear of heights and, many different fears that kept us and our kids and our family from doing what we wanted to do.
Yeah.
Yep.
So we just went for it.
Yeah. And we became practitioners and moved on, made our business, and
we started teaching other practitioners. It was at that point that it really became obvious to us that we wanted to help more people. So that's when we started developing online programs and being able to teach groups what we do.
Yeah.
And it's really interesting how with all the stress, I mean, you thought you had the cancer, even though it was something different. And I mean, that's what like entrepreneurship, like, don't get me wrong, like people love the flexibility. They love having that schedule control and stuff like that. But you have to look at it from both sides of the coin, where if you're not careful with this, it can really take a toll on your health. I mean, I know for me, if I do too much work, I'll stress out about it. I do get sick. I'm sick for a few days. During a very stressful point, I was sick for a few weeks. So, I mean, and my mom's like a nutritionist, so like it's not like I'm eating unhealthy. Like I'm not rushing
Right.
to McDonald's every day and getting unhealthy. Like I don't look like the kind of guy who goes there. I mean,
Yeah,
it can really
and
affect anyone.
exactly. And the thing is with entrepreneurs, I mean, we don't have necessarily sick days where you get paid time off. When you're down, you're down.
Yeah.
And so it makes it even more important for us to take care of our bodies and know what the heck is going on in there, so that we don't have those hard downs when we work too much. Because also, like I've been a workaholic since I was like 10, and, trying to get rid of some of those old habits, it can carry on into being an entrepreneur, and you can work yourself into a ground being an entrepreneur or at a regular job. It doesn't make any difference where you are. You can still work too much.
Yeah, definitely. I mean,
Yeah.
it doesn't even matter like how healthy you eat. Now, obviously eating healthy like helps you a lot, but I mean, like if you're overstressing yourself, then, the solution is just figure out a way to make the work less overwhelming on your body, because your body is connected to the mind. And if you're not treating it right, your mind, it's not going to be right. So I'm wondering if you could share with us, one of the things I know you to do is you help people get unstuck by utilizing the energy within your body. So I'm wondering if you two could talk a little more on that.
Sure. Yeah. It's been thousands of years that people have understood the energetic system of the body. The Chinese, the Egyptians, the Japanese, as they developed, and also the whole Vedic system in India. So it's all like this established map of the body. So it's a matter of being able to access how that map works. And so as we work with clients, what we do is we literally talk to the body. So we can ask it yes, no questions. And when the answer is yes, the energy field goes up. When it's no, the energy field goes down. So we can then ask it, what part of this map do you want us to work on? Or what type of emotions are connected with this specific problem that you want to address? And then from there, we clear the energy using that map. The map is the meridians and the chakras. And then the body gets happy. It says, wow, I'm so glad you heard what I was talking about. Now I don't have to do that anymore.
Yeah, I mean, it's so interesting because sometimes what people don't always understand is that the things that happen to us, whether it's in our childhood or things that even like all the natural disasters that are happening now, and people's houses are burning down, or if your car gets broken into, or any kind of like natural disaster or difficult experience, that has an impact on us. And I think people are getting used to hearing about PTSD and things like that. And those are very real impacts that, because of the experiences that we've had, that impacts our energetic system and creates blockages in that systems because we're like so scared, or maybe we're really pissed off about something happening. You know, if somebody harasses you, you get really mad about it. And all those extreme emotions can get stuck in your body. And until you can clear some of those emotional blockages, you need to clear them so your energy is moving smoothly through your system. And that energy services all your organs, your heart, your pancreas, your lungs. And having clear energy flow is what makes all of those organs and systems work perfectly. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean, I really like those insights. And when we think about emotions, I mean, they play a really big role because being stressed hurts your immune system. And
Yes.
I mean, if it hurt that part of your body, like it has a ripple effect for the rest of your body. And that's how you hear about overstressed people. As we were talking about our different examples of how we were getting sick when we overworked ourselves. I really want to get into the emotional blockage a little bit because I feel like that's something a lot of people have. So how can we get better at eliminating some of that blockage? Because for some people, it may take a few minutes, but for others, the stuff may be so deeply ingrained that it takes a lot longer.
Yeah. So let's look a little bit at how it happens, kind of what the process is when we start to create the blocks, what happens. So our body is so incredibly intelligent about reflecting our life. So when we experience something, and then that creates emotions, and those emotions are brought back into our tissues by this energetic meridian system. And it's also in that system where those blockages are then alleviated. So it's like our body shows us what our life is about, and then it shows us how to fix the stuff that our life has brought into our body. So it's like a system where it creates tension, and then it now knows how to release the tension, or it creates or shows you how your life is expressing stress, and how the situation that you're in, if it's hard to handle, it will then show you how that stress manifests in your body. And then that actual manifestation, the way that you feel, is what gives you the signals of what to work on. So with us, what we do in the process with people is first we help them to be able to connect with their body. So that's asking the questions to ask yes/no questions of how it works. And then we look at how to heal those blockages. And that's asking the body, what should I do? Where should I start? Should I run my bladder meridian where I hold fear? Or should I run my liver meridian where I hold anger? Your body will tell you which one to do. You just simply run it. And it says, thank you for asking. I'm not going to hold on to that anymore. So it's really simple. But the process takes a little bit of learning how to do it.
Well,
so that's what we do, is teach people how to do it.
And I think even, the real starting point for every single person is that emotional awareness of how do I feel?
Right.
And so many people, when they were little, they were like, you should be seen and not heard, or don't bother me now. I'm watching, something, or go away,
Or my favorite, everything's okay. Don't worry about it.
Right. So you learn how, I shouldn't really feel anything. I just should be happy, and so many things happen to us that it's not natural really to be happy all the time. Right. But we're not always taught, to feel it and to really be, emotionally aware of how we're feeling. So the first thing we talk to people about is like, well, how do you feel right now? Or if you're in a conversation with somebody and there's some conflict, how does that feel? Are you mad? Or when you're in a loving relationship, even, there's that love. It's like that, that inventory of, I am feeling pissed off right now because he just something broke on my computer and I'm not able to get done what I need to be done, or, all that range of emotion, the anger, the sadness, the fear, especially those negative or really difficult emotions can, when you don't process them or even think about them and you just shove them down, well, that's the stuff that gets stuck in your body and makes it hard later, like maybe you explode or something when somebody just says some stupid thing to you and all of a sudden you're like, rah, 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 and you're like, whoa, what just happened? And it's because there's so much feeling in there that you're not letting out. So that's step number one, is that emotional awareness. How do I feel anyway?
Yeah, and we hit on a really great point here, that you have to be aware. You have to take the time to listen to those thoughts, ask those yes/no questions to get a feel of where you are right now. Because if you don't listen to yourself, there's no way to really improve and tap into some of that energy to achieve more success, and also figure out what are some of the built-in roadblocks, those blockages that are holding you back from your full potential. So I like that idea of being self-aware. And I'm wondering if you could share with us any other things that you believe really prevent people from tapping into their full potential.
Yeah, I think one of the things, especially for entrepreneurs, is they're developing their business, and especially when they start to see some success, a lot of times they'll think, okay, now I just have to keep going. I just have to, like that whole put my nose to the grindstone thing. The thing about that is that your nose gets ground off. And all of a sudden you're not aware of what's going on, and you're so focused on creating more success that you'll do anything to have it. So it's like one of the hardest lessons, I think, for any business owner to learn is that when I get to a certain point in the day, I've done enough, and now it's time to relax. And you get what you get done in a day, and then you go to the next day. You don't have to constantly be on the hamster wheel where you think, okay, I need to really take advantage of every moment and try to build my business as fast as possible. And it doesn't matter if I burn out because I'm young, and I'll be okay in 20 years. And what we see is that people do that thing where they think, I'm young and I'm just going to keep going. But then they get to where they think they want to get, and they're not happy, they're not healthy, they're not aware of how their life is affecting them. And many times they have paid the price in relationships to get the success that they thought they wanted in business.
Mm. And, I think adding on to that feeling is breathing. It's like stopping how you're supposed to set the timer. A really good trick is that Pomodoro thing, and you set the timer for a certain amount of time. Well, after that 25 minutes, it's like, take a couple breaths.
Get up, walk around the table.
Get into your body. Feel like, oh yeah, I'm in my body. I'm not up here, creating, fixing, doing all this stuff. Let me go back down into my body with my breath and feel into where I am, and feel where I physically am in this world and how I am in this world. And that's a really important part. Do we have time for you to say one little thing too?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, is a lot of what Greg was saying as far as with entrepreneurs, how, we're always trying to get to that next level, whether it's an income level, get 150,000, get 500,000, and when we reach a certain level and we're doing, yeah. And then we reach up to get to that next level. Sometimes it's like everything, the shit hits the fan, right? I mean, things happen. You get to a level and you're like, yes, I've done it. And now I have to expand to get to that next level. And all of a sudden, all those old beliefs or old systems or feelings are like, boom, right down on you all of a sudden, because you're expanding and everything is coming, like the nature is like trying to be like, it's actually your brain saying, hold on, you're not safe anymore. Hold on, let's just keep it smaller, because out there is big and not as safe as it is when you're smaller. And so when you're expanding, it's so important to be like, oh, look what I'm hitting up against. Is that emotional thing, that hard emotion that I dealt with before? Is that an old belief that came in from when I was a kid? And just breathing into it. I'm right here, right now. And I can see where I am. I feel where I am right here, right now. And I'll know where to get next, because I'm breathing, I'm right here, and I'm in the present.
And I mean, those are some really great insights, and that idea of just being happy that you're in the present, and just also living out your lifestyle, because some people, they think, I suffer now, I'm happy later, but you got to be happy throughout the journey to have that long-term happiness. So certainly really important there. One other important thing I want to hit on are habits. So I'm wondering if each of you can share some of the habits that you consider essential for your success.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I think, what really helps people be successful is to develop a habit and a way to keep aware, to stay aware, to keep connecting with how you feel. So one of the great ways to do that is through meditation. If you can take a moment, and meditation is kind of a slippery slope as far as what people think it is. Meditation can be 3 or 4 breaths in the morning where you just pay attention to how you feel. And you take those 3 or 4 breaths. You can expand that over time if you wish to. But, everybody has a different path that they want to take, either in, the way that they develop or in some spiritual direction. And they'll find the ways that they want to tap into that. But really the habit that I hope people can bring into their lives is awareness, and awareness of their breath when they're breathing. We teach people how to, it's a very simple connect, heal, and thrive 3-step method that we use. And when people do that, even 2 or 3 times a week, they stay in touch with how they feel, and it really helps them to stay focused in their life and in their business.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think with the breathing is so important, but I think something that's just so cool for entrepreneurs is the ability to switch. So you can get yourself into, heavy situations or difficult situations, and how you deal with it is going to be what becomes your success or not. And so if you're able to be in a difficult situation and to separate yourself a little bit from somebody else's anger, or, mostly anger usually, or fear, and you're able to say, okay, here I am, and I can think through it, I can feel through it with my body. And he's like, oh, they're angry, I'm getting angry, I don't need to be angry. Or even when you're feeling angry or feeling afraid, you can say, you know what? I don't want to feel that way. And I can feel balanced and have equanimity in this situation, because that's their problem. It's not me. I'm good. I'm centered. I'm focused. I'm balanced in my body. And I can just come at it from, oh, I see how you feel. I don't feel that way. And here's the solution that I suggest. And that will really lead to really good decision making for yourself, and not falling into somebody else's trap. So switching from that fear or anger into your own balance and equanimity.
And I mean, I really like the idea with the habits where we're focusing on the mindset, and just because someone else is upset or angry doesn't mean we have to take on the same emotion. So it really comes back to this idea of being self-aware of our bodies, the yes and no that we've talked about for a bit, and just how we feel about ourselves and our emotional states. So certainly a lot of great habits there. One of my go-to habits is to learn as much as I can. That's why I love doing these interviews. It's also why I enjoy reading a lot of books. So I'm wondering if each of you, I see in the video version, which is on YouTube, there are a lot of books in the back that I see. So I'm wondering if you can share one of your recommendations.
Oh, our recommendations for books.
Yeah, I really, I mean, I'm a real self-development junkie, and I like self-development on the real spiritual realm. And there are so many good ones. One that I love right now that I've been reading is the
Book of Joy.
Book of Joy, Dalai Lama and Reverend Tutu.
Yeah, Desmond Tutu.
Desmond Tutu. It's like an amazing book. And, you know, in a lot of self-development books, and this one is very much the same, the first, 150 pages are kind of about the journey. And then if you get to the back, there's 50 pages of the how-to. So about halfway through the book, and this is with many of them, I've started to learn, let me look at the how-to a little bit first, and then read the story.
Interesting.
So
and of course, probably one of the core books, I think for Greg especially, is Course of Miracles. And that's
perspective.
Yeah, that's just a great, kind of inner wisdom book. That's it's a trilogy actually. It's been around forever. So many of our very important healers and thought leaders have that as a basis for their studies. And I think the latest one we've been reading is The Medical Medium. What Matthew? No.
Walker.
Yeah. Walker, and it's about the liver and detoxing, and that's another fantastic. That's a newer book, and so that we're reading that right now. That's on
Walker.
Anthony Walker. It's on the nightstand.
Well, thank you both. One more?
Well, there's one more, and this is for people who want to go out there just a little bit, and this is more on the Vedic front. So this is more of an Eastern book. It's called I Am That. Oh, yeah. It is a classic from Maharaj Sri Nisargadatta. I Am That.
That's the book that really talks about getting centered, getting into your body really in a different way that we talk about it, but it is about being in the present. That's kind of the
what to do.
The first book about that, really.
And of course he says, whatever you're doing, you don't need to do that.
Very existential.
Well, thank you both for sharing a ton of great book recommendations with us. Those will be in the show notes at marcguberti.com/E340. We'll also throw in the Wealthy Author in the show notes as well. So all those books will be in there. And before we wrap up this episode, I'm wondering if you two can share with us one question that you believe we should be asking ourselves more often.
Yeah, and this one's one that you can fill in the blank. So I'll just put it out there. Is there something that's keeping me from blank right now? And I'll say that the one for me is there something that's keeping me from loving myself right now?
That's a good one.
Do I get one too?
Yeah, you got one.
You said one. Oh, good. Woohoo. I think that the one that has helped me so much is, well, it's actually kind of two. What am I thinking? What am I thinking right now? And what am I feeling right now? Because so many of us, think about the past and stress about the future. And that's what we think about, and then what I'm feeling, people are so sad about the past and fearful about the future. And that's what you're feeling. So if you clue into what you're thinking, you're like, oh my God, I was thinking that? Is that what I really want to be thinking? So.
Well, thank you both for the great questions. Definitely a lot of food for thought, as well as all the other insights that we covered throughout this episode together. For people who want to learn more about the two of you, where can we go to find you on the web?
We have a gift for everyone if they'd like to kind of look into a little bit more of what we do and get some of the tools that we have. And it's at our website. So it's www.selfhealth, and it's HEALTH, institute.com/gift.
And it's right on the landing page of selfhealthinstitute.com.
Yeah.
Awesome. That link will be in the show notes along with everything else we've mentioned. It was a pleasure to have the two of you on Breakthrough Success.
So fun. Thanks, Marc.
Thank you so much. What a wonderful interview.